Hello everybody, I'm Pierre Roberge, the Daily Trader. I have been asked to do a video explaining how I make my trading view chart look the way it does right now. So this is what I am going to tell you in this video. We are going to take a look at all of the settings in Trading View and also look at all of the settings for my indicators also in detail. Here we go. The first thing that we are going to take a look at are the settings that are right here. So if you go to charts settings, let's start with the first one, the symbols. Here are the settings that I am using. Body. So basically I am using this green here. So I am using a Mac. So I guess that this color selector is the one shown by the Mac. So if you are on a PC, you might not see that exactly. So I chose this green and this red. I chose these two, green and red, for a lot of things. So I checked body, the borders, and the wick. So I want these three things to be colored: green if it's a green day and red if it's a red day. There's the last price line, which is a little line like here. This is a little dotted line that appears for the last price, and it can either be red or green depending on whether it's a green day or a red day. Pre and post market price. So I have them at orange and blue, and come to think of it, it does not make sense. I'm going to use the same color things. We are going to see in the morning where things are at and if it's green or if it's red. High-low price lines, I don't want that. Bid and ask, I don't want that. Adjust data for dividend. I did not do that because I don't want the price of the chart to be adjusted based on the dividend given. I want to show that when something is at a certain price, it's because it was bought at a certain price. I don't want dividends to impact that. I want to see the real prices of transactions in terms of precision, default, and time zone Toronto. Status line, so that's the bottom line. That's this line here above. I checked everything, and here in terms of background, I don't know if this does much. Okay, yes. There's a background that appears, and that setting is at 50%. If I go too fast, you can just pause the video and then have your trading view on one side and my video on the other side, and then you can pause it, and then you can make sure that you have all of my settings here. Scales, symbol, name, label. And I'm going to learn things at the same time, man, because I did not change all of those settings. I took what was standard and just changed a few things. Here, I have the symbol name that appears here. Symbol, last price label, value according to scale. Okay, this is the last price right here. Bid and ask, I don't want to touch that. Pre-post market price label. So this is when we are in pre-market or post-market. High, low, I don't touch this, I don't touch this. If I do this, it's going to show all of the indicators here, and I think it's just too busy. Here, indicators and financials, value labels, that too busy. No overlapping label, no countdown to bar close, plus button. Not sure what this does. A currency unit always visible, a scales placement, auto, date format. I use the metric system date format, day, month, year, as it should be, as it makes more sense. Then appearance, background solid white, vertical lines. I'm not showing the square lines. You can have a bunch of vertical lines and horizontal lines appear, and then you have your stock chart within that. I don't want to have that. It's going to make it way too busy. I don't enable that somewhere else, but here are the settings for that here. This would be black here, the horizontal lines also. Scales text 12, scales line, this black here. Pane separator, I'm not sure which one. I think it's the lightest gray. Crosshair, I'm using this gray right here. Watermark, no watermark for me. Navigation buttons visible on mouse over, paint buttons visible on mouse over, top margins 10%. I want to have a little bit of space on the top of my chart. I don't want to have the chart just draw itself on top here, because This is a psychological factor because if you have your stock chart at the top and also at the right, this is the next one here, the right margin, then you will psychologically think that you have reached a resistance, which is the top of your trading view window in Chrome or within the app itself. I think it's important to have some space on the top and on the right so that we can understand that the stock can be moving up. There's no resistance that is caused by the border of an application window. This is why I do that. The bottom margin, I use 8%. In terms of trading, I don't use any trading features because you can connect with your broker through TradingView and trigger a trade directly from TradingView, but I don't do that. This thing here, I don't think it's doing anything. So everything is pretty much off. In terms of events, dividends on chart. If we have a dividend event, I want to have a little bit of a D here that appears. Splits also expressed by an S, and earnings on chart are these little things here. So Tesla's earnings are coming on July 20th. So right now we are in 2022. And earnings break is putting a vertical line on the earnings icon. So this, I think that's pretty interesting because it goes to show that sometimes after a bad earning, stock is going up. And after a good earning here, the stock can be going down. So it's just interesting, but I think it's just too busy for that. So there you go for the chart itself. Now, let's look at the indicators per se. In order to do this, I'm going to show the regular indicator and then show you how I modified it so that you can understand where I'm coming from. So I use the regular stochastic. So you type a stock here, and then you have stochastic. And then let me bring it closer to where mine is. This is what the stochastic look like. So there's the blue line, that's the signal line, and there's the orange line that is the moving average on that blue line. So I don't need the moving average, so I have removed it. And that blue line to me does not need to be blue. There's no significance with the blue color. So I just put it black. And I am using a 21-day stochastic instead of a 14-day stochastic. And because stochastic over 60 is such an important trigger and milestone, I adjusted the background color of the stochastic to start at 60 because stochastic goes from 0 to 100. So I want stochastic to start at 60 and at 100. So these are the changes that I wanted to do. And this is how I have done them. So you can click on this little gear icon and you have to do the following. So in the input tab, you type a 21-day stochastic. So 21, the 3 is just for the moving average. I don't display it, so this number does nothing. And the smoothing, I chose 1. In terms of style, the K, I chose a dark gray. In terms of D, I chose nothing, so I did not display it. So I don't display it. Upper band, I put it at 100. The lower band, I put it at 60. And the background of that band is this green here. In terms of output, precision default, labels on price, so I'm not sure what this does, and values in status line. The values in status line, I guess there's some value here. Oh, yeah. So as I am moving my mouse here, you can see that we see a stochastic number right here. Let me go back there. So values in status line. So this is where I set that up. In terms of visibility, this is where you could decide to have stochastic only on the daily chart, and on the 1-hour chart, you don't show stochastic, but you choose another indicator. I want to have stochastic on all of my time frames. So great. So that's good for stochastic. I'm going to remove this one right here. Let's look at MACD. So MACD, this is very simple too. So I'm using a original MACD convergence divergence right here. but I customized it in terms of the look. So if you see here, it looks pretty much the same. Again, there is no logic to use a MACD line that's blue. Blue does not mean anything, and this is blue and orange, and the orange is just the second moving average. So the first moving average is blue, the second one is orange, and they have different number of days. So one of the signals of MACD, and I will explain it in another video at some point, when we have the blue line above the orange line, that's a trigger, that's a signal, that's a buy signal. Basically, if we have a buy signal when the blue line goes over the orange line, why not put the blue line green? Because it's a bullish signal, green over red when it's bullish, and then a green under red when it's bearish. So basically, this is what I wanted to do. So let's go into the settings of my MACD. So in inputs, I did not change anything here. So 1226 on the close with the signal smoothing of 9. So that's the orange line. Simple moving average for the oscillator or simple moving average. No, I am effectively using exponential moving averages, which is, so when we have an average on 12 and 26 days, the days are not weighted equally as with a regular average. With a regular average, you are adding all of the numbers and dividing by the number of numbers that you had. And right here, it is putting a little bit more weight on the more recent days and less weight on the older days. This is making the MACD a little bit more reactive. This is why I am using this. In terms of style, histogram is these little bars here. I am using the black color here, and I chose histogram light here. So I just wanted to have it a little bit simpler and not have the red with the different tints of red and green and everything. And that makes it a little bit too busy. What is more important is the cross between the green and red lines. So I did not want to have that there, but you can choose another style if you want. You know, it does not change anything about the calculation, but just the style that you want. So histogram, big black. I should use the same black as stochastic, so I'm going to change it right now. Then MACD green, and the signal line is red. Precision default, labels on price scale, values in the status line, and visibility everywhere. So that is going to give you a very beautiful MACD like I have. Then RSI, let's pick it. So this is the relative strength index updated. I'm not sure why it's updated now. Oops. So I added maybe a little bit too much. So let me bring this up closer to where we are. And I think I moved my DMI at the same time. Okay. So RSI also, so they are using purple and green. Why? There's no reason for that. Because of this, I'm going to use just the dark gray. And there is a moving average on the RSI signal line. I don't need that, so I will remove that. And in terms of the background color, I am using a light green. I would have liked to use, so I could consider using just green for a value of RSI over 50. So I could use that, but I'm not using that right now. So let's look at the settings for RSI. Inputs, time frame, charts, and gaps. What is this? Okay, I was expecting it to tell me a little bit about something about this, but allows the indicator to be calculated on a time frame different from the chart's time frame. The time frame should ideally be higher than the charts to provide a broader perspective with the chart's time frame using, okay. Basically, I am using the same time frame as the chart, so I don't want a weekly RSI on my daily chart. If I want the weekly RSI, I'll go on the weekly chart and look at the weekly chart and the weekly RSI and the weekly stochastic and everything. This is what this is saying right here. So when I look at RSI, it's going to be in the same time frame as the chart I'm in. And in terms of the gap setting specifies the behavior when the time frame is higher than the chart's time frame. When gaps is checked, higher time frame values only come in and are interconnected on the chart when the higher time frame completes. This has the advantage of avoiding repainting in real time. If gaps is not checked, gaps are filled with the last high. This isn't the case. We want to do this back thing. So I have it checked. It does not make sense to me because anyway, we are using the same RSI as the chart. So I don't think it was doing anything to have it checked. I'm going to uncheck it. RSI length 14, that's very standard. The source close on the close. Moving average type, a simple moving average. So this is making me rethink my things a little bit. I am using exponential moving averages for MACD. Is it MACD? Yes, it is for MACD. So maybe I should be using it for this too. It might change things a little bit. So let me use it now. I think it makes a little bit more sense. So exponential moving average 14 and 2. In terms of style, wow, lots of things. RSI signal, that's a gray here. RSI based moving average, I removed it. Upper Bollinger Band, this is green. Lower Bollinger Band, this is green. RSI upper band, this one is 70. The middle band is 50. RSI lower band is 30. RSI background fill, this is just a line right here. Bollinger Band's background fill, what is this? That's in green. I'm going to use the same green, but I don't have any Bollinger Bands here, so I'm not sure what this is. Output precision default, labels on price scale, values in status line. So again, you can pause if I go a little bit too fast, and visibility everywhere. Then last but not least, let's go with the MI right here. So directional movement index. So this is, okay, this one is a real mess. Look at all those colors. It's hard to understand what is going on. And with the DMI, there's a line that's the plus DI, which shows the strength in the stock plus DI. And there's the minus DI, which expresses the bearishness in the stock. So the bullishness in the stock plus DI should be green, and the bearishness in the stock should be red. But this is not how the DMI is set up. I don't understand why they are doing this. And there's the ADX, which is the volatility in the stock expressed as a line. So I am putting that black. So the thinking is that when this black line is over 20, then the DMI is giving us a good signal. If it's under 20, then we should not listen to DMI. I listen to it anyway, but this is how the theory goes. So let me show you how I set this up in terms of the settings. Inputs, I took a 21-day here, a 21-day there. That's quite easy. Style plus ADX, I should be using gray. So this is making me review my settings. Thank you for this opportunity. Plus DI is, I should be using this green here to be consistent with all the rest, and minus DI red here. Precision default, labels on price scale, values in the line and everywhere. So then if you do this, you should have something that looks like this. So there we go. So I hope this helps you a little bit. It even helped me make sure that my settings were a little bit more consistent. So I'll have to think about RSI at 14 days because I'm using 21 days everywhere else with stochastic and with DMI. So I'll need to rethink about that. And if you follow me every single day, I do a Tesla and Palantir video analysis. And then I'm going to tell you there if I make a decision to change the RSI to 21 days instead of 14 days. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I am a little bit late with this video. I had promised it, but at least now I can see that I have done it. So I can cross it off my to-do list. Thank you for watching, commenting, subscribing. If you like what I do, you can become a YouTube member. You can click on my TradingView affiliate link. I'm going to wish you a great day and I'm going to tell you à la prochaine.